Hello friends, and welcome to another video lesson from DBOS Talks. If you haven't subscribed yet, please click subscribe and click the bell so that you can be notified of new uploads. In this video, we'll be learning how to manage disk space in Windows. I'm sure there are deeper, more sophisticated ways of managing space, but this is just an intro which will get us up and running in no time, okay? So first up, we will be clicking on we will go to system, and from system you can click on storage. Okay, so this is the first way. You in your Windows start button, start field, you search field, you can type on system, and then once you get to system you can click on storage. The other way is at the Windows search field you can type storage and you can just click on that. Okay, so now we are here in the storage window. Okay, let me just get this with the rights. Okay, you will see a summary of what's taking up space with the biggest in our desktop. You will see there's a list. In this storage we have a list of applications, but right now they are categorized in some locations. We have apps and features, temporary files. So again, the one reason why we will be using this storage thing is once we encounter disk space problem, but it's good practice to not even wait for that bad moment, but even now you can start getting familiar with how to manage your space before that big day comes up. Okay, so again, when you see the storage, you will see you see this, you have drive C. This is your drive C. This is currently using up 237 gigabytes of disk space. So if you look at this bar over here, horizontal bar, it is saying 135. So sorry, the 237 is the total. So 135 gigabyte is used, or disk space is occupied, while the rest, which is 102, is free. So the total of them is 237. And below that are just a few of the locations of where disk space is being used. Okay, it's being used. So we have managing other large folders. We have apps and features, obviously applications, and temporary files. Okay, so let's just say you have disk space problem and you wanted to do some investigation in your own PC or laptop. What folder is using up a lot of disk space, and what options do you have in terms of freeing up space? So let's just say you wanted to look into apps and features, to look at applications you've already installed or already existing or installed in your desktop or laptop. Okay, let's click on this, apps and features. Okay, so once you get here, I'll scroll down a bit, you will see an alphabetical listing of apps or applications or software installed in your PC or laptop. And they are listed, okay, as mentioned, alphabetically. So alphabetically means they start with the numbers like 3D, and then comes the A all the way to Z, okay? You notice also that for each of these listed applications, 2 bits of information are available. One is the amount of disk space it is using up, that application, meaning this 3D viewer is using up 16 kilobytes, okay, of disk space. The other bit of info that you can see from this listing is the install date. So we see the convention is American, which means month/date/year. Okay, this is something I believe you can change on some settings in Windows itself. No problem about that. But be aware that two bits of information are here. One is the disk space usage of the application and the install date of the application. Okay, so you also see that right now these applications are listed according to name, alphabetical. How do we know that? Not only visually, you can see it here, but if you look at this at the very, not very top, near the top is sort by. You can see it's sorted by name, meaning alphabetically arranged by name of the application. Okay, so it gives you that facility to scan through the list because they're alphabetically arranged. But just in case you wanted to search through this list in a different way, you can also change the sorting order. So let's just say you wanted to, let's just say, wait, can go to sort by maybe size. So when you sort by size, it is no longer alphabetically arranged, as you can see, but sorted or ordered according to the disk space being gobbled up, being consumed by each application in descending order, meaning from the biggest consumer down to the smallest one. If you see, this is for Oracle databases using up 4.37 gigabytes, that's 1,000. 1 gigabyte is 1,000 megabytes. Remember that. So if I scroll down, it is sorted descending. And if you go to the very bottom, it will be a measly, it doesn't even count because it's less than a megabyte. So here it's a 16 KB and etc. So it's descending. Okay, so why is this helpful? It's so helpful because in such cases wherein you're trying to investigate disk space problem, then you wanted to zoom in on candidate applications that are good to be uninstalled. So you're desperately looking for that precious disk space, that real estate. So you wanted to uninstall the big ones, the biggies. Let's just, I will show you a demo. I will not go all the way to the end of, I will not go ahead and uninstall it for obvious reasons. I'll just show you the demo. So let's just say you wanted to uninstall PostgreSQL here. So you should be clicking on that application. And after you click on it, you will see a button called uninstall. And this gives you the facility to uninstall this application right here, right now. Okay, so I will not proceed, but I'm just showing you how it's done. Okay, so this, as mentioned, the listing applications here is according to size. Earlier, it was sorted by name. Okay, before I proceed with the other option, okay, I can do that right now, actually. So there's another way to sort, which is by install date. So let's just say you wanted to identify which applications to uninstall based on their install date. Then there's another way you could approach this, which is by clicking on sort by, and then on the drop down, and then you click on install date. So now it's a different listing altogether. It is sorted according to the date when the application was installed. Starting from, it's descending, starting from the most recent one down to the oldest in terms of install date. So if you can see, this Web Advisor by McAfee was installed last 24th of June 2022, which is very recent. Recent meaning as far as with the reference to the date this video is being made right now. Okay, so there's another way of sorting these applications, and it's very handy because there could be times when you are trying to make a decision whether to uninstall an application based on its age. If it's a very old application, you're telling yourself it's a good candidate to be uninstalled. So it depends on your preference, depends on your decision. Okay, so we have those three options under sort by name, by size, which is the disk space being used, and install date. Besides that, just beside it, beside sort by, you have filter by. So as you know, Windows PC, desktop, laptop device has one or more drives, minimum one, it would be called C. In the good old days, there's a drive A, there's a drive B for the floppy disk drives, but you don't have to know these things anymore. Okay, it's in the past. So just be resigned to the fact that you, at the very least, have a drive C, your hard drive. But in any case, in cases wherein you have a drive D, E, F, etc., you did some partitioning, etc., then you can have that option if you wanted to look at those other drives and see what's going on in there, how bad the situation is in terms of disk space usage. Then you can go to this filter by, and then you click on the drop down and you choose the drive that you want to zoom in on. Okay, so that's D. Okay, so otherwise you can go back to your drive C. Okay, and we're back to this view. If at any time you just want to go back to the previous view, you will just click on this left arrow key at the title bar of this settings window. Okay, another thing you can do from here is this. If you look at this field over here, there's a label, not really, it's a label there called search this list. So let's just say here, you have no problem scrolling through the list, but already it's a lot, right? Imagine if you have hundreds, I don't know how many applications you have in your PC desktop, and you wanted to just zoom in on a specific application whose name you already know by heart. Then you can just, or even partially know it, you can just type that application's name on this field over here. Let's just say I'm looking for a Cisco application. I will type Cisco, and I just type CIS, and already it's showing up here. So maybe this is the one I was actually looking for, and it is, in fact, yes. So here we go. When you look at this again, you see two bits of information. One is not only the confirmation that is the one you're looking for based on the name and the logo icon over here, but also two bits of info, which are the disk space usage, the disk being gobbled up by this application, which is 297 megabytes, which is 1,000,000 bytes, and the date of installation of this application, which is 6th of June, 2022. Okay, so that's another way of zooming in on an application, especially those that you suspect could be the culprit of a disk space problem. Now, if you wanted to clear this view and you want to go back to the old view wherein you were seeing everything, you can either backspace your way to this and erase the CIS you have just typed, or you can just click on the X here and it will erase and remove the filtering. And now we're back to the old view. Again, the view is long, yes, but there are three ways that this can be sorted depending on your preference. Right now it's sorted by install date. And if you want to go back to seeing this list in alphabetical order, you can just click on this drop down and click on name. And sure enough, it will show you the list in alphabetical order. Okay, again, the two bits of info are on the side, the disk space usage of that application, as well as the install date. Okay, so that is, we are talking about storage in here, storage management, space management in Windows. Not a very deep dive, but a shallow but useful touch on this topic, which is something that could become very useful to anybody, okay, regardless of the number of years we've been using Windows. Now, if you scroll here, if you wanted to know more, okay, let me just go back one little bit, let me backtrack. So again, if you want to go one step up, or you want to go to the previous view of this application, I mean, of this settings thing, you can just click on the left arrow key, okay, and it goes back here. So again, we'll be back to this view where you have a high level view of the disk space usage in your desktop, laptop, Windows device. As you can see, there are three locations over here, or categories. One is other, meaning manage other large folders, okay, apps and features, applications, features, and temporary files. Now, if you wanted, you're still not content with what you see here, and you still suspect there's more to be done in terms of freeing up space, then you can click on this thing here called show more categories. Okay, click on that, show more categories. Okay, sure enough, it shows you more options or locations. candidate locations wherein you could free up space. Again, they are sorted in a certain way. In this case, they are sorted according to disk space usage, starting with other, which is using up to 63.5 gigabytes disk space, followed by system and reserved, and blah blah blah. So you can see that you have that option of looking into the other locations over here. So let's just say music, maybe. Let's just say in my case, it's not so bad. It's 3 point something megabytes only. But just in case, in your case, this location, the music folder, is holding up a lot of, I mean, it's using up a lot of disk space. Then you can drill on into it by clicking on music, and then you can just drill down further. Okay, view music. In my case, I'll backtrack. Okay. Okay, and then what else? Right here, somewhere below near the very bottom is what you see, more storage settings. So at your own sweet time, you can explore these. Not rocket science for sure. Let's just look at one called, let's say, change where new content is saved, just so you can have a feel of it. Okay, so when I click on that, as the label suggests, change where new content is saved, it gives us the facility, the option to define a different default location. I'm referring to a drive wherein new content can be saved, such as new content, which is like application, file, music, etc. So let's just say under new documents would save to. Currently, it is pointing to, or will be saved to, drive C. So if for whatever reason you wanted to change this default behavior to letting it save new content, new document to a different drive, then you can just click on the drop down, and whatever drives you have, in my case, I only have C and D, then you can click on D. And then after that, you click on apply. Okay, I will not proceed to do that. I'm just showing you how it's being done. Now, once you're done with this, you can just go back and click on this back arrow here. Okay, so that's it, folks. You've seen how to do a first level, not deep dive, but a first level look and see and feel of doing space management or disk space management or storage management in Windows. You don't have to be an expert at this, but it's good to, everybody starts from somewhere, everybody's the first time, and we can take baby steps and start from here, and it'll be a good learning curve from here. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the short video and learned a few nuggets from it. Okay, so if you haven't subscribed yet, please click subscribe right now, spread the word, tell your friends about it, because this channel has several topics or categories under it. Okay, although it's all about tech right now. Okay, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.